Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar. Today we are talking about link building, how to create links to e-commerce pages. That's why I decided to invite an awesome guest, Alexandra Tachalova, and she has a huge experience. I found a lot of her articles on many recognizable blogs, Search Engine Journal, Moz, Hubspot, SEMrush, and many others. Welcome, Alexandra. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for asking me to join you today, Anatoly. It's a great pleasure. Thank you very much, guys, who decided to join us today or would join us. Anatoly, quick question. How do you want to structure our today's conversation? I believe I'll share my presser firstly. So there will be a few slides that will share some kind of, let's say, very practical tips on how anyone could start building links to their commercial pages, as well as a few comments about just general process. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good. We can divide our webinar into two parts. In the first part, you can share these insights, how to build these links, and something like this. And in the second part, we will reply to questions. And I have some questions for you as well.
Cool. Okay, so I'll start sharing my screen then.
Okay.
Okay.
I will accept if you send me this request.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So one more time, my name is Alexandra, and I'm the founder of a relationship-based link building agency. And so my today topic is building links to commercial pages, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So first of all, getting links to commercial pages is debatable. So sometimes, from my own experience, I've noticed that in some cases, it's a waste of time and resources. So let me share with you 3 scenarios when it's pointless to secure links to commercial pages. And in case your commercial pages are currently matching any of those 3 types that I'll share, then I would say it's not really the best idea to start building links to them, and you might want to focus on some other pages. So the very first one, your clients don't Google for your services products. You might say, how come, Alex? Hold on, everyone is Googling for everything, I would say. But so let's take a very generic example, B2B services and products. Even though people for sure they are doing tons of informational searches, still, like for instance, our potential clients and, well, I would say literally any agency clients, they won't be Googling for link building services or SEO services. They'd rather ask their network. They might go on sites like aggregators. So they won't. They are not. Oops. I guess we have some technical. Okay, cool. So yeah, for sure, they might Google for link building services, but that doesn't mean necessarily that they are ready to convert. So they just want to learn more about various options, and in that case, they just go to your page, check it out, and so that's not going to be a transactional keyword in terms of their intention, I would say. So even I would say here, the thing that even commercial keywords still have informational intent, and that the reason why ranking well with your commercial pages in that case doesn't really make sense, because people want to just really learn more, not only necessarily about link building services, but what kind of link building services they could get on a generic note, and so on. So in that case, it might make sense to rank for a page that showcasing link building services might be talking about your agency as well, but also that won't be a commercial page as it is. So the second situation, your commercial page is not specific to your solution. So here is a very good example. For instance, you are targeting, your commercial page is targeting the keyword link building, or the keyword copywriting, or the keyword content marketing, or any other keywords that are very, very broad. And in that case, that's a very broad search term, and it's not really like people that searching for link building, they'd love to learn more about link building, what kind of link building approaches exist, what is link building as well. So here is, for instance, if we take a look at a SERP overview for the keyword, for the given keyword, for the keyword link building, you will see that in reality, what people want to see is like beginner's guide to SEO, where someone is talking about like on the Moz blog, and there is a chapter about link building. So there are most like the definitive guide. So people are not really searching for something related to, like, you know, to purchasing links, to services. And in that case, what will happen? Information. Well, for sure, you'll get some traffic if you manage to rank well for the keyword link building, for instance. It has a very, very good search volume. But in that case, you will get a very, very high bounce rate that will be hurting your SEO visibility. And that's what you should keep in mind here. So the very last scenario, the third one here, is that your commercial page can't outrank the competition. Sadly, that's a very common thing when you wanna, like, you know that this is the right keyword, and that's a very transactional keyword in your case. So people will, like, you know, if you attract visitors, they will definitely convert. But there is no way to outrank the competition. And in that case, here is just an example about email marketing software, one of the toughest keywords and very, very competitive. So you need to remember this. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, like, you know, acquire links. Like, you know, the last scenario that I'm talking about, it's more about understanding the current environment and not really waiting for some short-term results. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, like, you know, start building links to your commercial pages when you have a very high competition level in SERPs, but that's definitely something that you should keep in mind. And if you want to reach some short-term results, so for instance, you'd love to get, I don't know, traffic within the next 6 months, that's not going to happen. So you need to just, you know, adjust your strategy, your SEO strategy accordingly, and keeping that in mind. So here is why, like, you know, I just highlighted 2 main columns here, domain rating and the number of referring domains that are actually like pointing out that the competition is very high here, because, like, you know, the majority of domains that are ranking at the top 5 results, they are all going beyond, like, you know, the majority are close to 90 and even going beyond 90, and that's the same about referring domains. So the next question is, if you sure that you're ready, like, you know, you have the right pages and you'd love to build links to them, then the next question is how. So I would say there are 2 most realistic approaches to that will allow you, link building approach that will allow you to secure links to commercial pages. So the very first one is guest blogging, and the next one is link insertion. Like, if we talk about some other strategies, like for instance, broken link building, it's not going to work, because if you want to get a link, like, you send an email and say like, hey, you have here a broken link, and let's put my link instead of this link. It's not, in the majority of cases, it's not going to work, just simply because you're asking to link back to commercial page. And well, yeah. So when we are talking about guest blogging, so the main question is how to find the right blogs that will accept your pitch. Because if you go to top-notch blogs, editors won't allow you to link back to your commercial pages. That's basically what you'll find in their guidelines. So you need to find those blogs that are fairly good, but not so picky and not so strict in terms of their guidelines. So I would start with checking within your current circles. What I mean here, that might be your partners, social media followers, and so on, your LinkedIn connections. So people that you know and with whom you've already established some relationships, and so they will allow you to link back to your commercial pages in your guest posts in exchange of getting something decent back to their blog. So the next one, what you could do, you could run a quick competitor analysis to find partners and rivals guest posts. And the very last one, it's like finding your industry groups. So they should be related to link building, or at least content marketing, content promotion, growth hacking as well. That will work. So if you're within a B2B niche, then I would recommend to join B2B bloggers boost group on Facebook, and then Rain's group on Facebook as well. So I want to stop on quick competitor analysis and how exactly you can find partners and rivals guest posts. So you need, if you use Ahrefs, you need to go to Ahrefs, because I don't know, literally, I don't know any other tool that provides you with the report of newly acquired backlinks. And that's what you need. So you need to go to Ahrefs new backlinks, the new backlinks report, and there is select a decent time frame, at least a few months. And so one more thing that you need to do, you need to add, like when we do guest blogging, we all have a bio where we write that we work for a particular company. So when I write guest posts, I write in my bio that I'm and the founder of Digital Olympus and blah, blah, blah. So the same goes to any other person that does guest blogging. You need to find you select a time frame to go through their newly acquired links, to find their at least one guest post, to look through their bio. And once you have it, you could search in Ahrefs. So it allows you to search text that is surrounded an anchor, placed around an anchor. And so in that case, we are going to search head of growth at, which is basically this person works as a head of growth at this company. And then you will see all their guest posts. That's very much it. So you could do this for, I don't know, like 10, 20 partners, rivals, and get a decent list of blog posts, which is why it's also a really, really good strategy. One more thing here to keep in mind, that when you're going you are writing an email outreach, you're writing a pitch to an editor. What you need to do, you need to write in your pitch that actually the reason why you decided to write to this blog, because you noted that your good friend, or whatever it is, you could just, say good friend, or just a person that is also contributing to this blog. And that's a very, very legit reason to connect with them, to write to them, which will actually showcase if you have some kind of a connection with their previous contributors, for instance, that will add additional trust to your pitch. So, and you don't need to write any kind of standard bullshit in that case, like, I am an aspiring writer ready to just, to write an in-depth post. You don't need to. You just, you write that actually I stumbled upon on your blog because I follow Pavel from TDO, and so he wrote an excellent post on your blog, and that's the reason why I decided to reach out to you. And so I do similar, so I could do something similar, or like, providing some sample of your previous work and blah, blah, blah. So the next question is, if you want to do link insertion, then the question is how to find sites that are ready to link back to your commercial pages. Because it's tricky, obviously, not all websites would love to give a link back to a commercial page. So here is my 5-step process of finding such link building opportunities. Just grab it. So the very first step, you need to pull together a list of keywords that have a quite high commercial intent within your niche. So let's say, like, take SEO services or link building services. You need to just, to take a few keywords, like from 10 to 20, and that's fairly enough. No need to create a lengthy list of keywords. That's not just a standard keyword research. So in that case, I prefer to use SEMrush Keyword Magic tool. Well, for sure, you could use any tool, but why I prefer SEMrush? Just simply because it shows the competition level and kind of keyword difficulty, they call it. And the higher the keyword difficulty is, the higher the competition in SERPs, which is good. So you need to take those that have the highest competition. Then you go to the Ahrefs Keyword Explorer tool and export the SERP overview report. For sure, you could also scrape SERPs, and if you're on a shoestring budget, you could use a tool that is called SEOquake, which is actually, this tool was developed by SEMrush as well, that their free toolbar. But the only downside of any scraping tool, that it's not going to provide you all the data that you can find in the Ahrefs Keyword Explorer tool. So for instance, they have a column domain rating that we really need, and the number of referring domains. So you need to, even if you have those URLs, you still need to find a way to get those two columns. So DR, domain rating, and the number of referring domains. So the reason behind the necessity of having those two columns is simply because once you export everything, you need to get URLs that have a low DR but many referring domains. As you can guess, those sites are actively building links, and we'd love to know where exactly. And in our case, those pages are commercial pages because we selected some particular keywords. So what you do, you do an advanced filtering here. So first of all, you ask to filter by domain rating from smallest to largest, because you want to see those domains that are quite weak, but that are because those that have a quite weak domain rating, they are more likely doing link building versus those that are well-established brands, because they're just getting links naturally. And then you search the next one, you say okay, and I want to see those domains with a quite low domain rating, but that have already built tons of referring domains. And you see them. And once you have a list of such sites, such URLs, pull together a list of their referring sites. So what you do, you go to Ahrefs back and check each URL in terms of their referring domains and export them. So the last one you need to connect with them. So you need to check that all those sites, they're for sure like, relevant, and they're not really like, spammy or whatever it is. So you need to just, to check them all manually. But then what you do, you connect with them via email or via LinkedIn. It doesn't matter here. You just, it's just your decision, or whatever channel you prefer. I would do it via LinkedIn and then follow up or via email. But what's really important, you need to add this phrase. We know that you are referring to the XY that site that you've already that you found initially. You were checking and on the previous step, basically, so that they're linking to a particular URL in their post, there. And so what you'd love to do, we'd love to see whether you might be interested in partnering up with us in a similar way. That's very much it. And if they're really into link building, they would say, yes, definitely. We'd love to connect with you. So, well, why this approach is way better compared to a traditional email outreach is simply because you are reaching out only to those websites that that are first of all, that those pages that you initially analyze, they are really actively building links. And so your initial list of sites that are referring to them, they are also most probably are actively building links, and that's the reason why they gave a link to a commercial page. So that's very much it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, just let me know. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or drop me a message. So, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you a lot. I like your report. And, yeah, it was not technical problems. My neighbor decided to drill something to fix their apartment. I don't know. I hope they stop a little bit, but that's okay. If they started, you can continue.
Okay.
I just moved my voice. Okay. Let me start with so basic question. How important is building for SEO?
So I would say currently, if you do if you search for a list of ranking factors, you just Google for this, you'll find a few researchers, like for instance the one that was delivered by SEMrush, and guys from SEMrush, they analyzed all their tons of their URLs, the website that they have in their database, and they uncovered that links are among the top 3 ranking factors. Like the first 2, they are related to behavioral factors, for instance, direct traffic. That's actually one of the biggest factors nowadays, because direct traffic is connected to being a brand. So it's very important to be a trustworthy brand. But here's the thing, that links in reality, they are connected to just to establishing a trustworthy brand in the eyes of Google, because when well-known reputational websites are referring to your website, it grows your brand awareness. So people know about you, and not necessarily they are going to click on a link, but they might after some time, they might go and Google for you via your brand name. So that's the reason why links are very, very connected to your brand awareness. And also it's very important to invest in your social media channels, because they are growing also your brand awareness and trustworthiness. So yeah, I would say links and social media, they are very, very connected here.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, I don't remember exactly the year, Andrei Lipetsev, one of representatives of Google, he shared that link building and content are the most important ranking factors. But, it was 4 years ago, and after this, Google only proclaims that you don't need to do link building, just pay attention with content, Tell your insights about can we rank content without links? Is it possible, or it's important?
I got it. So the question is whether you could, technically or in reality, ranking well without links. So
Yeah.
I think it very much depends on your niche, and it's a very, very debatable question. That's my favorite word. And I should add, it depends. That's the second favorite word of literally any SEO guy. But I would say, if you are, if you are a part of a quite competitive niche, the answer is no, definitely no. Then you might, the last research was delivered by Moz, and they also analyzed various pages in terms of links versus how well they are ranking in Google. And so their main top insight was it's a very slim chance to rank well, even by single pages. So, for instance, you have a very, very well-established domain with, significantly big authority. And even though in that case, some particular pages might not be ranking well, there is one exception here. You might start ranking well by some particular pages if you are really good with internal linking of your pages, and you know how to pass the link equity across your pages. And for instance, you could, you want to rank by a particular page, you don't have budget for link building, but you have a very, very good domain authority. And so in that case, what you could do, you could add this page in your footer, for instance, or in your category menu. And in that way, the link equity from your main page will go straight to this page. And the chances of ranking goes quite up, but still it depends on the competition level. And in the majority of cases, people that want to rank well in Google and they know about SEO, they want to rank by some terms that have a decent search volume, and as a result, they have quite big competition. But there is one keyword, if you want to ranking well in Google, I have one hint, that has nearly zero competition and insanely big search volume. I don't remember, might be over 10 million searches, something like that. The keyword is how to cook a broccoli. So if you really, really want to rank well, and so that's, and you don't have, you don't know how to build links, so you could start ranking by this keyword, take it, how to cook a broccoli. Not sure how it's going to connect it to your business, but yeah, you'll get shitloads of content, of visitors.
I remember. I think that I read the study from Moss, and even Brian Dean, Ahrefs had similar studies that pages that have more links usually rank higher. Even the first page usually gets over 2 times more links than the second page. That means links play a huge role. Okay, I have another question. How to choose the right link building provider or a company who can handle this process? Because today we have a lot of black hat techniques or something similar, and it's crucial to know, because many websites waste a lot of time, 6 months, 1 year with incorrect provider, like this. How you can lead people in the right direction? How to choose them?
I'm a link building agency, so I'm very, very biased. Well, definitely I'll be talking about our own ways of building links. But anyway, I want to say on a generic note that if you if you don't have a quite big budget, and you can't go and subscribe for a lengthy contract, because like normally all agencies, including our agency, we all ask our clients to subscribe for a decent number of months, which means you need to have a budget, because that's kind of obligation. So in that case, I would like, if you have time, that the next question, you always like, do I have money or do I have time? If I don't have anything, then I'd better invest in something else. But in case you have time, then you could just, do guest blogging on your own, which is always good. And if you have some extra time, what you could do, you could establish relationships with some other guys, like, including guest contributors within your niche and other companies that are not your direct rivals, but that are also like, building links, like checking your current circles, whatever it is. And just simply even by doing like 2 guest spots per month, you could build up to like 20, 30 links, because what you could do in your guest posts, you could link back to those partners, and in that way, using guest posts to indirectly exchange links. So, but for sure, it might sound like easy peasy. In reality, it takes a lot of time, so you need to have time, because that's a very, very time-consuming process. Like even like, acquiring one guest contribution might take a lot of time, especially if you are not experienced and you don't know where to start. So you'll just waste a lot of time just learning. It's a learning curve. And so normally, like, link building is one of the toughest exercises when it comes to a SEO discipline. I would say the most time consuming and the most, I would say, exhausting one in reality, because it takes a lot of time to find those, like, blogs or websites where you could secure links, then, find their contact details and blah, blah, blah. That's tons, like, you need to invest, a good number of hours on this. Yeah. And so I would say, but if you're circling back, like in case you have some budget, I would there are a few questions that you should ask a potential link building agency or potential contractor freelancer that you're going to hire. So how exactly they are going to build you links, whether it's going to be through guest posts or whether it's going to be through link insertion. Could you please, the next question, could you please share some samples of previous links? And there should be a decent number of links, at least 100 links. So you could just, scroll through them and see that they are not randomly selected. So you see that you should ask what kind of client it was, what kind of niche. So you also see that they are relevant to their niche. Well, for sure, the main criteria here should be domain rating of those websites, as well as their general trustworthiness, and then relevancy. Well, firstly, relevancy, then domain rating, or actually both are coming together. You can't separate them, because a link with a DR20 on a relevant website, that's not going to help you, and versus a link on a website with DR, 70 plus, but not relevant to your niche, not going to help you as well. So that the core things here. Then you need to, I don't really like any link building schemes approaches that involve money, because that's a short-term investment. So if a link building provider, contractor, will be acquiring links through paying some other websites, that won't be a very, very good investment, because most probably those sites, they're selling links to everyone, basically. And at some point, Google knows about this. Google isn't so stupid. And in the long-term run, those links won't show any growth, and that's also not good. So you need to build those links that will be a long-term investment, and that will show growth in next quarter, and that's what we are doing actually. So the best links, they are coming from corporate blogs. Here is a kind of a top tip. Did you have a dog?
Yeah, I'm at home today, and yeah.
Okay, no worries. So I think that my top tip will be the best links are coming from corporate blogs that don't accept guest posts, because when a site, even a corporate blog, accepts guest posts, Google knows about this and sending less link equity to your website, because your link provider isn't the only one that are using this website. Hello.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Sabina. Yeah. She decided to buy. I don't know why.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So that will be you need to understand how exactly they're building links. Just to sum up quickly, as well as ensure that they are doing it organically, so they are not paying for those links, because that will be a bad investment.
When I read your articles on Search Engine Journal, if I remember correctly, or most, because you have a lot of articles, and you highlighted that you don't like guest posting. You like other methods to build connections with webmasters, editors, but guest posting is not your loving method. Why? Because, for example, most shares that 90% of all SEO specialists use guest posting, and Ahrefs has similar study. But you told that it's not your living strategy, and I know that Google doesn't like the strategy as well, because you can manipulate their system with guest posting.
So, well, I think the biggest reason why I don't like guest blogging, because it's very expensive. So to do a very good link, to secure a good link, you need to just, on average, you need around, if you don't do it internally, you outsource this. So, well, the lowest price will be around 1,000 USD per post. And that's ridiculous, actually, if you do it just only because of link building. How many guest posts you could do? How many guest posts you could afford? That's just
a lot of time, to handle the process with editors, writers. I know.
So the reason behind such high rates is simply because I'm talking about, we are mostly within B2B niche. B2C might be a bit lower in terms of rates, because you don't need to just, to be so experienced in some very specific things. But our average copywriter, the rate of an average copywriter starts from, let's say, around 300 to 400 USD per post. So, and this post will include like 2K or a bit more words. So I would say in that way, it's a horrible link building strategy, but it's a great strategy if you want to grow your brand awareness, and that's your, you understand that you're using it not really to build links, or that's not your, you do it just because of links as well, but your main target isn't links. You could definitely outsource it if you understand what kind of benefits it could bring to you besides links. Otherwise, that's not really worth it. But you should remember that we, in my agency, we use guest posts to return links to our partners. So if you just, could just, change an angle here and use guest posts to return links to partners, and that way, you do one guest post, but in reality, you get from at least from 7 to 10 or maybe 12 links, depends on how much how many links this particular blog allows you to have. And in that way, it becomes a very, very good strategy, because you just, you don't really do guest blogging just because of getting one single link. You're just, adding links of your partners. And yeah, in that way, it works pretty well. And the cost per link will be around, let's say, like from $15 to $30, which is cheap.
So cheap.
Yeah, and you secure. So the best thing here that you also you are just you get this guest post that will help you grow your brand awareness as well, and you don't need to just to do some shitty guest posts. You do one decent one, or a few decent ones on good blogs. That's like what you need to do. And your partner, they're either returning you links in their guest posts on similar websites on their corporate blogs. So you're just connecting with people that are also building links and minimizing the cost.
I have another question about question. For example, when you need to create guest posts for health websites, medical, or something similar, it's crucial to find experts who know the topic, like doctors, because copywriters can't create high quality and valuable content. How you handle this process to find experts? Even, for example, in marketing for our blog, we can see that we tried numerous times to post some content for copywriters. It doesn't work. But when experts, even without some copywriting experience, write the text, it works, it ranks, and it brings traffic. How you find these experts, to create this blog post?
So basically, we have a very complicated process of producing content nowadays. I mean, like guest contributions. So we have copywriters that are very experienced in a particular niche. So they are like health medical copywriters. So they're only writing within this niche. And then we have an editor that just, kind of has a degree in this particular, and editor is just controlling copywriters. So he's just, reviewing each copy and ensuring that it does make sense at least. So we are not like, we are not trying to create a new Mona Lisa. For sure not. Because that's just, we are using, well, for sure, that's not content authored by us, first of all. Then it's just a part of our business process. And if and people that are authoring those posts, that should be on their side, whether they want to publish something that might be okay or more than okay. And so they're authoring this post. And that's the responsibility is actually on their side. And if they they don't care, we also, if editors are we understand what kind of criteria editors will be using when they will be evaluating those guest posts. And so we have our kind of internal approach, I would say. And so what we need to do, we need to ensure that this post will go live. That's very much it. So we don't want to be rejected. And because that just, adds extra costs for us. And so that's very much it. So we are not really creating a new War and Peace or something like that. Not at all. But yeah, I think our content, if you go just, and Google something, I would say what we write, what we produce is kind of within what you see at the top 10 results, which is nothing new or exciting, sadly.
Okay, I have another question about domain authority, because Google doesn't recognize this parameter. I think that I read a few studies that websites with higher domain authority rank much higher than their competitors. And when you create links, Do you care about domain authority or page authority? What do you think is much preferable to create links? Because I know that many websites can ask, please create backlinks for this category page, but Google might not rank the categories page. And even John Mueller replied to this question that these pages don't bring a lot of value, to visitors. And for example, can we create links for other pages and interlink them, or it's better to create to the exact page?
It depends. I would say it depends on a particular situation, what you see in SERPs. And so if you see that the current URL that are ranking well, they don't have tons of referring domain, then you could try this. But if you see that site that you want to outrun, they particular pages, they have a decent number of referring domains, most probably it's not going to work, because you are just separating your link equity, because in reality you're getting links to this page, and then you are sending some pass, some link juice to your target page. So you should remember that in that case you need to build 10x more links. So I don't know. In our case, we don't really care whether it's a commercial page or a content one. So if there is a way to build links to commercial pages, we do it to commercial pages. But we always what we do, we always tell we are very transparent here, and we tell our clients that guys, yeah, it's definitely possible to build links to commercial pages. It's it takes much more time from our side, but yeah, for sure we could do this. But you should remember that the very best blogs won't be linking to this page. And you will get some links, but they are not going to be excellent ones. So the only workaround here is try to get acquire your own guest, become a guest contributor, and try to just to get links to this commercial page by writing some content and trying to integrate these links in your content. We are we are kind of I think we are close, we are very close to nailing this kind of a thing, because each more or less each of we have a quite lengthy list, of commercial pages, and that we need to link to, when we are returning links to our partners. And there is you could link to a commercial page, not necessarily by just saying here's a commercial page. You could say, guys, take a look at what kind of a beautiful design on this page, and blah blah blah. So there might be some some creative ways of giving it a link, and a reason to give it a link. And in that way, an editor will most probably will leave it, because if it's going to leave a link to this page, then the whole paragraph won't be making any sense. So yeah, there might be some ways of getting a link back to this page, not necessarily just saying here is a commercial page, go there and buy. Or or just putting it under your preferred anchor, and that's very much it. So you can be you can be much more creative and try to just play around and find the right angle to link back to it.
Okay, Nikolai submitted the question 2 times. Perhaps he wanna get the answer. In which niches does this method work best? It means promotion with the help of corporate blogs.
I think in any niche. We are scaling right now, so we've started to do it mostly within a, let's say digital marketing niche. Then we scaled it to IT software development, and as I can see currently, you could literally scale it to any niche, because if people are building links within your niche, other websites, then there is some synergy between you and those people, and that's very much it.
Okay, Harry submitted the question, where to get dummy data to build an e-commerce site?
Where to get what?
Dummy data. I think that, but Harris, we are discussing about link building. It's not about creating website.
Okay. Diamond data to build an e-commerce. Go to WordPress or WordPress, I think.
Yeah.
WordPress blog. They have some templates, so you just need a server and just that's very much it. They have tons of free templates. There was actually, I remember there was a good question from Maxim. Please recommend tools and applications for collecting content information of site owners. That's a good one. So I would recommend starting with Hunter.io. And that's my number one tool when I want to find some contact details. Well, the best thing about Hunter.io that's actually it's partially free. The first one. The second one that it gives you a template of how a particular website create corporate emails. So even if Hunter.io doesn't know about an editor email, so you could use this template to create it if you know a name. So what else? One more tool will be Viola Norbert, as I remember. Yeah. But if you I remember Robbie Richards had still he still has a very good post about the best tools to find emails. It was a part of the best tools for link building or something like that. So if you could just Google Robbie Richards and post about. Let me Google it for you actually. Robbie Richards, best link building tools or something like that. Oh yeah, I found it. So basically here is the one. I'll just share it in comments for you, Maxim. So grab it here. So there are much more options over there.
Okay, I have another question about what is better, to have relevance or authority? Because in your article, I saw that you think that the link from Search Engine Journal for SEO agency is much better than have the link from Forbes or any other recognizable websites. That means relevance is more crucial than authority.
Yes, one more time, if you get a relevant link from a website that has a very low domain rating, that's pointless. And the opposite situation when you're getting a link from, I don't know, let's say, kind of a website that is a Top Gear website. So let's imagine Digital Olympus gets a link from Top Gear website. Well, basically, it's a cool link from one side, from one perspective, but Google understands that Digital Olympus has nothing to do with the automobile. We are not an automobile company. So, well, I don't know actually how it's going to work because I've never seen someone that will be on purpose building links on good websites but not relevant ones. Might be a good experiment. What will happen actually? Will Google say I'll definitely penalize your website, or just what kind of a coincidence, guys, but you have such great links, so you will rank high. I don't know what will be the answer. But I think on a general note, I think for sure it's better to have relevant links because it's just about growing your brand awareness, because the more relevant, it's like recommendations in real life. If some guys from within your circles recommend you and they're all also digital marketers, for instance, that's a good recommendation. If guys that are doing automobile, I don't know, providing services related to car washing, for instance, recommending me as a digital marketer, what's the point here? And what's the value of their recommendation? It has zero value actually for other people, because they understand what could know guys that washing cars, they're running a business about car washing, about digital marketing. Well, literally nothing.
Okay, and another question about how to create a link building plan. I think it depends on the website or content that we should promote, but do you create a link building plan?
Yeah, I love those questions. Like, for instance, like how to build a Maserati. Buy it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Because it's a very, very big question. But let's start from the very beginning. You need to understand what kind of resources or budget you have. Once you understand like whether you have resources or budget or you have both, then you you try to understand how many links you could build. If you have budget, then you could go to any link building agency contractor and ask, okay, what the real cost per link. But on average, it kind of varies. A good kind of all agencies, they charge more or less in a similar way. So let's say from 200 USD up to 600 USD. So that will be a price per link, I would say. We are somewhere in the middle. We are like 400, 300 USD, depends on the DR. So basically, an average cost per link, you have some budget. You just separate it. Okay, I could build 10, 20, 30 links per month or whatever. If you have resources, then what you have some budget, but you don't want to hire any kind of a service provider. So you need to have someone who will be doing an email outreach, at least one person, and this person, I don't know, like if it's an experienced link builder, then this person must probably start getting you at least from 40 to 50 links per month. If you have some copywriter that will be helping this person. If not, then it will up with around 20, maybe on the best months, 30 links per month. So that's very much it. But still, in the majority of cases, hiring an experienced copywriter means like from 2 to 3 thousand USD per month. So just because those guys, they understand the value of what they could provide to you. So so in that case, you need to understand whether you have enough resources to support this link builder with content, because at least you need to have around maybe from 1K to 2K USD budget for copywriters. And then you need someone who will be managing those copywriters as well. If you will, if you go to a link builder and say, hey, dude, you need to also manage copywriters, then this person won't be building you links. This person will be managing copywriters. So you need to understand what kind of resources you have, whether you could hire more people, or it might be easier for you just to outsource it. But anyway, if we are talking about a link building plan in terms of understanding how many links I need to build to outrank my competitors, which might be that's kind of a guessing game here. So I might assume that might be a question as well. In that case, normally what you do, you go to SERP overview report in Ahrefs. And so you just analyze SERPs, and what you need to look at the top 10 results, domain rating, and the number of referring domains per particular that are referring to those URL that are currently ranking well at the top 10 results. Your domain rating. What kind of sites are currently outranking you. What's your domain rating is nearly close to those sites, then great. Then you need only to build links, to close a gap in terms of you have a gap between pages. So you need only to close this gap. Your domain rating is below or 2 times below those guys, those URL, those websites. Then you need to build at least 10x more links normally to outrank them. So if they, let's imagine you see a website that has a DR of 70 plus, and it has only 20 links referring to a particular page, and it's currently outranking your website, and your currently your domain rating is around 50. And that way you need to build 300 links to this page on average to close the gap between domain ratings, plus to just, you need to just, to solve two problems here. But it's not an exact math, sadly. We don't really know how Google exactly calculates it. If only, if only. So, well, it depends also on a lot of factors here, whether, including behavioral factors, how visitors are interacting with your websites, whether they are really consuming your content. Do you have direct traffic? Whether Google understands that you're a real brand, and so on. So there are much more things that you need to consider besides just looking at domain rating and the number of referring domains that are linking to a particular page that you want to outrank.
Okay.
Including site speed, by the way. Site speed is a very, very important factor. We've recently fixed site speed on one of our pages, and we started to rank much better.
Site speed.
We have shitty WordPress. I hate it, but there is I don't know anything better. So we just purchased WP Rocket. So I pay $50 per month, and my site speed is kind of okay. So finally, I think it's worth it. Well, it has some glitches as well, but it's okay.
Is it plugin?
Yeah, it's a paid plugin that helps you minimize all the layouts and whatever it is that WordPress always adds to your pages, and well, all those things. I'm not really a very, very good technical SEO, so I was very happy with this plugin. I was like, finally, thank you.
Okay, Alexandra, I have the last question, I think.
Cool.
About when to start in building for a new website. For example, only registered, created, we have the main page, some other pages, but we don't have a lot of content there. Yeah. Do you think it's better to start in building or to wait when we have a lot of other valuable content?
I think that's not the matter of content. That's more the matter of your business. Are you a sustainable business model? Because when you're building links, you are kind of relying on what you're trying to get at the very end is organic traffic. But it takes a lot of time. And the next question is whether your business will be still running when finally you start getting organic traffic. And if you're not you're not certain, you don't have a stable flow of visitors, you don't really understand how it's going to, you're testing, experimenting, whatever it is, then you'd better rely on some other sources while you are just trying to find the right niche or acquire enough clients. And then only start building links, because it's very expensive and it doesn't work like this. So it takes a lot of time. And no one could guarantee that, it only works for sustainable business models. So I think SEO is the right channel for those that really understands that, we are we have a stable flow of clients, and right now we are ready to start growing our kind of brand awareness, our informational keywords, and start ranking way better and relying more on organic traffic.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thank you very much for your insights. It's valuable even for me, because I read a lot of your articles, and right now I got a lot more information. And I hope we can see one more time in the future, because I'm going to connect my LinkedIn, and we can streamline on LinkedIn as well, because I have 45,000 followers. Yeah, and I think we can share this audience
Cool.
as well. And yeah, thanks a lot because you saved the previous time when you phoned the speaker for a few minutes. Yeah, I will remember.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I will remember this. And I want to tell for watchers, the next time we will see Amanda Milligan. I hope, we will have the next content about link building, even to create links for data focused content. Okay, Alexandra, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anatoly. Thanks, guys, for being with us today. So hope to connect with you all via LinkedIn or via Twitter. So thank you very much and have a lovely day.
Yeah, you can find all the links to Alexandra in the description below. And yeah, connect with her agency and to get a lot of insights. Okay, guys, see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.